You also want to exercise restraints as to your comments and judgment about such situations. So as far as I'm concerned, the position of government is to say, look, we're doing investigation. And because of our investigation, if we go and release names of looters, it will impede justice. It will also disturb further more recovery. The question to ask Nigerians are very simple. And I disagree with him absolutely to say that people are saying publish the names. The opinions are divergent. Why some are saying, well, we need the name. Some are saying, look, it's not the name that is, quite important now. It's to say that we must commend the president for embarking on recovery of looted funds. We've had presidents in this country who have never bothered about what has happened in the past. So the effort of the current government must be commendable for even making efforts to fight corruption. It's the first time majorly that any government is trying to fight corruption headlong. So for me, it's not just enough to say we need names. What do Nigerians want? Do we want the names or want our looted funds recovered? I agree that when a matter is being investigated, you must allow the investigation to conclude, and then beyond that, those who you publish their names also have a right to also take it to court. It will lead to further litigations. And when further litigations are expanded, it also makes administration of justice more expensive. Don't forget, we have a very limited number of judges. Government is trying to ensure that rather than go all hog to proliferate and congest our courts, we must also employ some other means of recovering, looted funds. So as far as I'm concerned, it's not out of place for us to allow the government of the day to complete this process. If there is a need to name them after completion of the process of investigation, their names will be so published. But for now, it shouldn't be, of too much of concern as to whether their names are published or not. The fact of the case is that this government in 1 year has recovered so much money of looted funds, which has not happened in the past. And in the past, we have funds recovered. We've not even had full disclosure. It's the first time we're having a full disclosure from the government.
Let me interject in this way. If you may permit me to set the record straight, I'll seek your indulgence to read section 1, subsection 1 of the FOI law. Notwithstanding anything contained in any other act, law, or regulations, the right of any person to access or request information, whether or not contained in any written form, which is in the custody or possession of any public official, agency, or institution, howsoever described, is established. So whether you like it or not, it is the right of the masses to know who the looters are. And there is no gainsaying. You said we don't for us to.
If you read further, you also understand it's your right to ask, to seek information. The right to seek information
the
is for you.
Have already seeked the information.
No.
They have already seeked information.
No, the law does not allow you.
Even Falana came into the. There's something I read in the media.
Yes.
Falana asking the federal government to publish the list and the amount.
But you know that by the Freedom of Information
Law, it's not even sure the amount collected so far.
By the Freedom of Information Law, which you have quoted, it requires an individual who is so determined to obtain information to apply in writing to the agency of government concerned. It's not just by going on air and say, publish names. If Nigerians are determined, and some people are vehement, and they want to explore and exploit the Freedom of Information Bill, they need to apply the law. Okay. It's not the law, it's not just that. The law is there, but then you need to apply it.
Okay. Nigerians are not just the ones. Nigerians did not ask for these names before. I mean, the president in an interview said on May 29th, he was going to talk about, he was going to name these names. That's what he said. I don't know if my producers will have that film ready. We could play back so that we would all hear it. But that's what the president said.
Want to understand that
but based on that,
the president doesn't work in isolation.
Hold on. Based on that, there are almost all the people here. Let me see if I can. Lanre says, they strike when the risk is low and opportunity is high. Publish their names to increase the risk. Martin Skooka says the government has the government categorically stated that they will never release the names of the looters. Well, Onogu says, releasing the amounts looted with the names of associated looters is what deters others from looting. Greenstone says, it's purely political. It's an indication that the government lacks all it takes to prosecute looters. FG should sit up, period.
Now,
Let me just
Hold on. One after the other.
Let me just come in this way.
Before you come in.
Yeah, you
he wants to react. Yes, go ahead.
are saying that I'm going to name looters. But of course, you want to understand the president does not work in isolation. He has a Ministry of Justice, he has a legal team. If the legal team are going to say, look, you cannot publish these names, because if you publish these names, you will further compound the problem. This will can take you to court because the process is not completed. And then you also do not understand the confidentiality and the intricacies of what is involved, even above these looters, make these funds available. So it's not only the president who will say, I will do. It's also for the legal team to say, is it legal for you to do it? And if the government has come out to say it is not legal for me to do it.
Quickly.
Let me react quickly. You see, there is a procedure before they recovered some looted funds. And that procedure leads to plea bargaining. Maybe to reduce the sentence, or maybe let me give you the money. And once there is a confessionary statement or written down by anybody, then which means is an admittance of what? Of guilt. And in this case, all they need to do, the prosecutor need to go to the court and enforce the forfeiture of such asset. But unfortunately, such has not been done. And we said somebody has written that he's going to return so amount of money. So amount of money has already been recovered or returned, and which means that person returning that money has given his consent. And giving consent means that you are now free to give what this person has given back to the public. Let them know.
All right, we'll take a moment and come back to continue the conversation. Please don't go away.